Hi. So, for my leadership interview, I chose to interview a lawyer in Orlando called Tamara Lasso. She is a new lawyer at Dan Newland's Injury Law in Orlando and Dr. Phillips. And she just graduated from law school just 2.5 years ago. And she went to the University of Miami. And I chose to interview her because she is a new lawyer. She's a woman. She is Hispanic. I look up to her a lot in what she has done, and she's an injury lawyer, which I think is super cool. And I think it's really hard to manage being a leader when you're a new person at a new place, especially if it's like your first official job in a career that you've been working for since um like 7 years ago. And I think it's great that she decided that it was okay for me to interview her. And she gave me some great advice on how to be a leader and how to um, manage these tough situations that you're in as being a leader. And when I first met up with her, I found her to be extremely professional. She didn't seem like she was only 2 years into her career at all. She was acted way beyond her years, and she was very welcoming and accepting of my questions. And I think that's a quality that's very important because when you're a leader of any sorts, it's important to show yourself as being approachable and present yourself being welcoming to others, especially if it's in a workplace, because when you're not welcoming, other members or coworkers or anything or clients may not ask certain questions because they're afraid of that might get mad, or they're just intimidated. And I think the way that she presented herself, being very approachable, was very welcoming to me, and I was able to ask all the questions that I wanted without being intimidated of what she might think of me or what she might say or something that I might say. So nevertheless, she was very sweet and open to answering all my questions. So we first discussed basic leadership qualities that all lawyers should have. So she listed sort of the fundamental qualities we always hear. So these were responsibility, organization, passion, commitment, communication. Um, but then after that, she gave me more in-depth and um, informative answers that I found to be very beneficial. So first, she described to me the type of leader that she is. So she described to me that she's a servant leader, and she told me that she takes inspirations from large figures in history who were also servant leaders, such as Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and Mother Teresa. And she told me that if thousands of people could do it, or that if she could do it, and she didn't have thousands of people nitpicking at her and criticizing her like all these other figures were, then why couldn't she do it if they faced all these struggles? She's just like a normal human being following this type of leadership. And I found that to be so inspiring because yes, I hear about all these servant leadership qualities, and it's very intimidating. And the people who follow them, obviously, these are very large names. But when I see that she follows that same type of leadership and she's just um, a regular person, it's very inspiring to hear that also, I could do it too um, when I become a lawyer. And she quoted that good leaders become good servants first. And I think that's very important because she told me to always ask people what they need. Like, what can I help you with? And to never assume what they need, because it's easy to forget and just assume what other people need and tell them something, and they might not need that. Sometimes they need help in a certain topic or a certain area. They may lack knowledge in specific situations, or they might just need like emotional support. So for whatever reason it is, it's important to ask how you can help instead of assuming what they need. And then another leadership quality Tamara told me about was knowledge. So she told me that knowledge is power, and to never be afraid of learning or being too smart. Um, and I think oftentimes people shy away from correcting others, like including myself, because they might think that other people might think that you're arrogant um, or a know-it-all. And she told me that when you're a leader, failure is just as important as success. So when someone corrects you, you're learning something new. So when you're correcting someone else, that you're helping them, and when someone corrects you, you're also learning. So she just said to remember that failure is just as important as success. And another aspect she touched on this was about being a woman and being a leader at the same time, because she told me about certain situations that she faced discrimination while giving these meetings or discussions, leading a discussion with like a panel with a lot of different lawyers that have been working longer than she had, and they told her that she was a know-it-all and arrogant, and she just said that to never feel insecure about it, and if you know what your information and you're confident in what you know, it's important to ignore these negative thoughts or that other people have onto you, and to never back off or act stupid in order to please other people, because she told me that knowledge is your strongest power and to not be afraid of it. And the last quality she gave me for being a successful leader is involving other people in your thought process. So I thought this was also very important because she talked to me about being a democratic leader in contrast to being an authoritative leader. And she emphasized the importance of involving other people in your thought process or major involvements, because she thinks that when you involve other people in your thought process, you can listen different perspectives and you can hear from people from different walks of life, regardless of their position or status at the workplace. So she told me that she thinks that authoritative leadership does not function as well in her position because they're more closed off to other opinions. And she told me another quote, which was, good leaders come from their followers or learn from their followers as much as they learn from you. And I think that's very important because sometimes I think we may forget as leaders that you never stop learning, which is going back to the last topic. Like, you can always keep on learning, and hearing perspectives from different people and taking that into consideration for your decision is very important, because you can listen to see what you may be lacking. And I have to say I really agree with this statement, because although some people may have high levels of intelligence or decades of experience, if they're not open to other people's thoughts, then they can't keep on growing. And she told me that too much knowledge does not exist. Like, it does not exist at all. You can always keep on learning. And then one of the most important things that she told me and that struck with me was that you must uplift others in order to uplift yourself. And I think this speaks to what a true leader is. Given that a servant leader is something that is, you have to commit to other people, she stressed the importance of making sure people around you are satisfied with how you help them in order so you can grow too. So once you've assisted your group as best as you can to the highest of your abilities, you will also learn without even noticing. You will learn and you will grow through that servitude. So through serving others, you're actually growing and you don't even notice it, and it's something that it comes with practice. And so ultimately, I'm just so grateful to have had this opportunity to talk to Tamara. And because, I don't know, after the meeting, I was thinking of how similar I am to her and how we're both more quiet, on the quiet side. And I always thought that was a negative aspect, but she assured me how being an introvert may be better because you don't get distracted easily. You're a great listener, and she just reassured me so much about being a leader. And I saw her be successful, and it really inspired me to continue and hopefully become a better leader when I'm older. Thank you.